Welcome to Team Perry's Step Out of Line podcast, featuring co-hosts Perry and Lori Finkelstein. Together, they explore, meet, and share inspirational stories with guests who have made a positive impact in today's world. This podcast resonates with our hope to make this world a better place one step at a time through love, acceptance, and uplifting conversations.
With Alli Young, who is an entrepreneur. She started the Forum, which we have to hear all about. She was a Google leader in Google company. And what she does, from what we have heard her speak, is she promotes women advancing, women getting what they need to do to be a leader in their career. So we wanted to find out, Alli, how you started working in this field.
Great. So I've spent 20 years in the corporate side, and I never really thought I would be able to leave corporate. I loved watching other entrepreneurs and people really pursuing their dreams, but I never really had the confidence to do that myself. And one day, I should also say, I've also been very passionate about women and diversity and moving diverse people into leadership roles. I think like we'll all live in a better world when we have different types of people leading and different people of different backgrounds, ethnicities, perspectives, etc. So a few years ago, when the Me Too movement happened, I actually typed Me Too into the computer, like everybody else who I had ever worked with had also typed in, which was really shocking to me. The next day, decided on somewhat of a really passionate whim to leave my corporate career and to start this company, which again helps women move up into leadership roles. So it was really based on passion that I decided to do this. And I would say for entrepreneurs, you really need to have that passion too, because it is very hard to be an entrepreneur. It's very hard to, take an idea and figure out how you're going to build a business around it. How are you going to make money going from $0 to $1? Actually, it's very hard to figure that out. Just to make that, again, like a single buck. So having that passion is a really critical, important piece of this.
Mostly all women are the ones who are working with you in the Forum. And do you have a team of people who you rely on? Because you're one person, how can you do everything?
I have a team-ish. I have a light team. So what I have one full-time employee right now, and then we have outsourced our development to a company. So they develop that for us, but I don't have those recurring charges over time. It was just for the development of our platform. And then we've brought on people using equity and other mechanisms like percentage of what we're able to sell to create a team. And so now we're growing. We're literally actively growing that team right now. We're just about to announce that we have a new VP of financial services. So somebody that's going to come in and help to really support women in financial services. And right now we have some of our advisors are men. Not all of our advisors are women. I very much so believe in allyship. And again, I don't believe we need to have only women leading, but we need to have equality in leadership. So we have a lot of women, and we built it for women, but it's everybody is welcome into the Forum and to participate in our curriculum.
You say that this is was this the biggest time in your life when you stepped out of line and did something that was totally radical or totally of what you thought your path would be?
Yes. So it really was a big moment for me where I did step out of line and do something that for me was very radical. Perhaps people on the sidelines would think, oh, creating there's many business owners that were out there, but for me, it was the most radical thing I could ever do. And I decided to do it without having a plan either. Like I didn't know exactly how this company would be created. I just knew that I had moved into leadership. I know how to teach other people how to do it. So now I have to figure out how do I create a company around it and scale this so that millions of people can do it too. So yeah, for me, and also, after 20 years in the corporate landscape, I didn't know if I was too old. I didn't know if I had the right background. I had been a salesperson for my whole career. How can I build a tech platform? Even though I was in tech, I had never built tech. I had only sold it. So I had all of these insecurities. But again, with that passion, I just felt compelled to do this. And I knew that I would be able to figure out and to find the right people to help support me and this dream.
It's interesting, when we had seen you in Cannes, we heard you speak, and it was like a mini seminar of how to empower women. And I know some of the things that you said really resonated with me and Perry, and we used that throughout the year. For example, she needed to tell, I think it was a professor, about what she accomplished. And she said, this is what I've done. And she laid out exactly how she contributed. Just like you had said, you need to tell your bosses how you've contributed exactly and very specific. And I know, I said, look, do what Alli told you to do. And that's what she did. And she was able to get results.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was awesome. And I know Perry and I had spoken about right before we signed on, where she actually had a teacher recently in Adelphi University who took away some points on a paper for her because she wasn't as an assertive woman in the business world as she wanted her to be. And Perry and I were discussing this, and we said, do you think if you were a male writing this paper, would the teacher have deducted points from you? So do you think women are going to have points deducted through them, so to speak, throughout their career if they're not aggressive and if they don't stand up and be a leader?
Well, women do have points deducted, but sometimes it doesn't matter what you do, you have points deducted. So sometimes when women are very assertive, they get points deducted because they're called aggressive, and people don't like that. They misinterpret passion for aggression or being too assertive and speaking too much. And then on the other hand, women are meek and don't speak their minds enough and are a wallflower. So sometimes you just can't win. But that's why I want to move women into leadership roles across the board. So we just change the dynamic completely. And that, I believe that type of stuff won't happen because women at work will be, and in executive roles will be completely normalized. So we won't be viewed as having to work and be the same as men, but bring a different dynamic to the workplace and to organizations and industries.
And do you think Perry, as having a physical disability, sometimes she has to work twice as hard to get noticed, or for them to think of her? If they saw her resume on paper and if they saw her grades on paper, they would be, oh, this is awesome. But I know sometimes people with a physical disability, when they are going for a job, they're immediately knocked out of it, so to speak, and they're not even considered. How do you think that can change? Like, what can we do to change that in the world? Is it also leadership and putting leaders who understand?
I do. I feel like disabilities now is just beginning to be talked about within companies of like a different pillar for diversity. So it's not just race, ethnicity, gender, but also people with disabilities. And the thing that's so interesting to me about people with disabilities, which is exactly what you said, Perry, you have to work twice as hard. And so with that comes grit, determination, like all of these skills that really is what create leaders, and also what leaders want in their team members. But I think it is very hard for them often to see, like outside of the disability. So we do have to normalize like that idea of people having disabilities and still being able to knock it out of the park. And that actually somebody with a disability can be like really knock it out of the park because of how hard they've had to work, and like out of the box thinking just to do normal everyday things that could be very easy for that hiring manager, but could be very different for the person sitting across from them.
That's very interesting because it's something I know Perry's been striving to fight against forever. And as she gets older and moves on with her college career and hopefully, goes to graduate school, she really sees it and feels it. And I know it's frustrating, but at other times it's very empowering to see what she can accomplish. So, she'd be a very good person to hire. Thank you so much for your time and for giving us advice. And where can somebody find you if they want to find out more about the forum?
You could find us at theforem.co. So TheForem. It's named after my daughter, Emerson. So forem.co.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, Alli. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
And hopefully we'll be following you and we'll see good things and we'll hopefully
Awesome.
have a conversation again one day.